Edinburgh holds a unique place in Scientology's history. It was here that the first ever advanced organisation opened back in 1968. Over the decades, this organisation has caused serious harm, with many lives damaged and families torn apart.
If you would like
in this
to
interview,
help,
Amir bravely speaks out openly about the abuse he witnessed and the abuse he personally experienced inside the so-called Church of Scientology. So let's find out.
hello Amir, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking to me.
Oh, good. It's very lovely to see you. Just to hear like a lot of people are just discovering that I've been following their channel for like months, but I'm certainly a fan of your channel and your content for sure.
I didn't know that.
Since I met you and then found out about you, I started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so if we could just start off talking about how you. We'll talk about that. If we could just start off and let people know who you are. Like, well, obviously you are Amir, and you live in Edinburgh, and you are an ex-Scientologist. Could you just explain how you got into Scientology? Like, where did you find them, or they find you, and like, how did you get into it, please?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm one of the unique people that wasn't FSM'd. Well, technically I was FSM'd, but I wasn't body rooted. No one kind of like handed me a flyer on the street, and then I went and did the personality test and what. It was shortly after COVID. It was actually in 2023, and so the place was absolutely dead. When everyone was on flag for 3 years for flag training, executive training. So it was just Tom Cruise, really. I mean, that's the simple way of saying it. I'm a film buff, and I've always been a really, really big, massive film person. So I did theatre. I played football and I did theatre in school, and then I ended up studying film for 2 years. And then whilst being and studying, just a Tom Cruise fan. And I'm not speaking about Tom Cruise, the person and his personal life. It's mostly Tom Cruise as an actor and his artistic work is what I'm a big fan. And
what's your favourite movie?
Right now, I'm going to say Eyes Wide Shut, the Kubrick film.
Okay.
Infinity.
I'll be honest with you. Since I've been finding out about Scientology, I've been boycotting him. I'm sorry, but I love his old stuff. I love like Cocktail. I love Rain Man. Like the oldies, Jerry Maguire and stuff like that. But I'm not Mission Impossible. I like the first Mission Impossible, but I'm one of these people. If I really enjoy a movie, I'm kind of dubious about watching the sequel. I don't want to ruin how. Do you know what I mean? So I haven't watched any since then.
But I would say Eyes Wide Shut, which is actually kind of funny because Tom goes on a unique dive into the occult in that film.
I've heard about that. Yeah,
it's very interesting. But yeah, so I obviously he was like, I'm like you in the sense where like I'm super curious and I'm also like a sponge, and so I can just consume so much information, and I could just listen to someone speak for 5 or 6 hours and just pick at their brain and whatnot. So it's very easy to access on the internet and go and watch Tom Cruise winning his Freedom Medal and say, we need to clean this place up.
I think you know that I am there for you. And I do care so very, very, very much. So what do you say? We need to clean this place up? Huh?
Yeah. And then going and watching him talking about study technology.
To obtain what I didn't have, so they can realize their dreams.
And then watching him talk about how he is totally against drugs and wants to help people get off them. So I was fascinated by the whole thing, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go in and I'm going to see what it's about.
When I see Tom Cruise doing that talk about, we're going to do this, I find him to be really aggressive, like the way he's supposed to this, was it just kind of like you really think this is such an amazing guy and he's just passionate,
I just I just the same way that I find COB David Miscavige fascinating. Not in like I admire the person, but it's so intense. I was very close to meeting COB, but when you speak to people that have met them, they say the same thing. Oh my God, they're so intense, and the eyes are just bulleted on you completely. And I'm like, oh my God, wow, that's fascinating. Tell me more. I'm so fascinated. I'll have to show you. I've got a letter from David Miscavige. It was my first
Have you? Oh my God.
match, but I'll have to show you after. But I was just fascinated by the whole thing completely. So I went in.
And you hadn't heard anything, like you hadn't heard like any of the bad stuff about them, about Scientology in general at that point?
Not at all. I've heard weird, or I heard that people found it weird, and in Scientology, and then I see Tom winning his Freedom Medal, and then you see that massive stage, and COB's next to him with his suit. And I thought, oh, this is
really, really strong handshake, you know, like, geez,
God. But he is the only guy that could get away with giving COB a fist pump, handshake, bear hug.
Oh, they're besties, yeah. They're like besties.
People get in trouble for taking pictures with him and putting their arm around him. Like, he's not happy with that at all.
And I think it's because he's so short and he doesn't want to, like, kind of, I don't know, he's quite...
Oh, bro, he's taller than me when I seen him. He is smaller than 5'5". He must be 5'3".
Really?
He must be 5'3" or 5'2". He's very, very small. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his shoes are like elevating him, so maybe he's 5 foot or something. But so I went in, and then the first ever course I did was the communications course. And well, I did several things. I did the personality test, didn't buy a book. I did the stress test, didn't buy a book. And then I went, and then I was like, and then I browsed around like you would, like when you're buying a vinyl or a film, and I was like, interesting, not interesting, interesting, not, what's this? And then he basically, John, who was a guy there, who was actually the temporary boss, ED, was like, you should do this one. This is a communications course, and it's a very, very popular course, and especially since you're into film and stuff like that, Amir, it'll help you big time. Just get your communication across and make things your own and make things original. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, how much is this course? 24 quid. It's very cheap. It's 24
Is that
quid.
all? Okay. I thought it was more than that.
Well, there's 5 or 6 communication courses.
Okay. And these are the TRs?
Yeah. There's the little booklet, the little blue booklet. So that's 24. That's the VM one. Then you have the STCC, Success Through Communication, which is a bigger blue pack, more TRs. That's £67. And then you have, the TRs you can do on Pro TRs, on Upper Indoc TRs, which are, £1,500, £750. There's several communication courses and TRs and whatnot. So I did the cheapest one. And also I was studying, so I wasn't really working at the time. I was just mostly doing film. So I did that. And then I think it took me 2 or 3 days or something like that. So
can I just to interject. So for people that don't know what the TRs are and the communications, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll see if I get it right. Yeah. So the first one is you're sitting in 2 chairs, like you're sitting opposite someone with your knees are a little about that much apart or something, and you have to sit there and just be there with your both with your eyes closed at first, and then the next one is with your eyes open, and you have to stare at each other without flinching, moving, sniffing, scratching, anything like that. If you do that, then they go flunk, and you have to start again.
Flunk, you looked away. Start. Flunk, you're squirming in your chair. Start.
So that's the one that people talk about the most is how did you go with that? Like how many, because you have to do it for I think around 2 hours, maybe? Or how long do they get you to do it for? And how many times did you flunk?
So I flunked several times, and that would flunk several times. If you're interested in hypnotism and stuff like that, then you'll start to feel the hypnotism on OTTR0 when you have to look at someone for like an hour. So there is a 2-hour one that's on the bridge, that's on Pro TRs. When you start training to become an Pro TRs, then on the check sheet, which tells you what you have to do in sequence, you have to do it for 2 hours. And I did it for 2 hours because I was on staff, so I did staff TR. That one you have to do for 2 hours, and the supervisor needs to pass you on it as well. But yeah. So you have the.
So on the lowest one, you don't do it for 2. How long do you do it for there? Is that 2 hours, or are they a bit more?
I think I did it for 40 minutes to an hour, something like that.
Still long enough, isn't it? It's a long time.
It is, and it's weird because your perception of time changes when you're doing something like that. When it's like playing. I don't know how to explain it, but when you don't have your phone or a watch, or you just have to be there comfortably and look at this person for an hour, and you can't really cough, sneeze, scratch your arm, nothing like that. Your perception of time changes. The way you see everything around you changes. I this, and then when I consulted with the supervisor, they said that's a somatic that you go through where you see different faces. So it is very, very hypnotic. And because I've read these references very recently as well, and these policies, but the Hubbard basically believed that everything was on a gradient, whether it's the bridge, whether it's TRs. So he says, well, how can you deal with bull baiting, and how can you deal with taking shit for 2 hours if you can't even just be there comfortably in the chair and look at this guy? So we're going to sort you out on that. But then how can you just be there comfortably and look at this guy if you can't just be there comfortably by yourself? So we're going to sort that first, and then have you sit there with your eyes closed for an hour and a half. And then when you feel good there and there's no more somatics, then great, we'll move you on to the next stage. So everything is really... Then you get to Dear Alice, and then you get to these other TR. I mean, there's TR7 where you have to you use what they call 8C, which is body control, and you have to physically get some. You could be twinned up with a woman. You could be twinned up with a kid. I saw kids do this in the course room, but physically you have to grab him and get him to touch the wall. And he's gonna, so it is. It gets more intense as you go through the other TRs. Framing at ashtrays and whatnot, but yeah.
Did you actually get to use an ashtray? Because I know they can use other objects, but it seems to always be an ashtray.
I never done to your the tone 40. So
okay. I don't think you'd need to do tone 40. You seem to be pretty tone 40 to me. Tone 40 is basically being like, you kind of have to be like happy all the time, right? So up stats.
Yeah, it's absolute 100% intention.
Yeah. So I'll give you my opinion on the TRs, if that's all right. So
go for it.
And I mean you probably know all this now anyway, but so it's all about control, and it's all about setting the person up to basically be numb. And accept these commands, be shouted at. So you're accepting abuse, but also giving abuse when you do it the other way, And this can be done with really young children. Like I know of ex-Scientologists that were doing it at the age of 4 and have had horrific things shouted at them during bull bait by fully grown people. And it's affected them. They're still affected from it like 30 years later, So it can be and this is people that are public Scientologists, that use it at home, that are like really extreme into it, and live their lives by it. And that's kind of what we protest about is how it affects children and stuff. And it's worrying, but it doesn't just affect the children. I believe it affects the adults as well. But when it's packaged in a certain way as communication, it's that kind of placebo effect, and that like a power of suggestion is so powerful that it would give you confidence, So I can see both sides of the coin, how it can help people, it can be useful to you, and that's great. But there is another side to it as well. It's like it's like a dual. Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's worrying. It's just worrying for me with the kids, you know. And I think the whole thing of why a lot of the activists like to spread the awareness is so that people know what they're getting themselves into, and so you have an informed choice. That's our goal, you know.
I don't want to like invalidate anyone's wins at all that they've had from different.
No, absolutely, yeah.
And I know you're the exact same, but the thing is, I think everyone deserves to know like the actual truth and what actually happens. And they, you know, you're taught in Scientology. There's policy on mystery language and common dissemination. These are different policies that LRH that Ron Hubbard wrote, and you're really taught to add so much mystery to it, because if you end up answering the public's questions, then you kill the interest completely. So they're drilled, they're taught to add so much mystery. So, I mean, these tactics, and you know, just have to take my word for it. Like, I've got all of this. I've had phone calls with these guys. I've had webinars with these guys. I've had drilling from these guys. I've got all the text messages from all the group chats that I've just been recently booted out of. So they use it in their TikTok. It's part of their method. And if you look at, you know, Church of Scientology Minnesota, who's the most popular in terms of views and whatnot recently, Gunnar is the guy. But
him and his brother.
Gunnar, yeah. So I mean, I've had phone calls with Gunnar. He's a really, really cool guy. But like he does and uses is a lot of fucking mystery, and he's just trying to, you know, get people asking questions, and he wants you to come in and come in on service and whatnot. But they're very even when I was on staff, and I hated this, and it was booted out of me and drilled out of me. But you're told, do not answer the public's questions. You know, if they ask you a question, ask them a question, but create this level of mystery and mystique. And so I
yeah. Do you think that's like that? Do you think though? Does, like, for me that would be a red flag. Like with you, you know, you're all about free speech and being inquisitive. If somebody asks a question, you should be able to answer it. You know, like if there's. But then, it's, see, the way I look at it is every single thing that people think are dodgy. LRH was a very clever man, but I think that he was very clever in, so every single possible out or way of pulling it apart, he's covered all the little out points, I suppose you'd call it, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's very, very clever. And I think that, I don't know if you know about Stephen Hassan's bite model. I think I've done a few. So I've done a few little shorts and stuff about Stephen Hassan's bite model. So it's, I've actually got it here. So it's bite. So it's behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. For me, with the gradient, especially, I think I actually did a short on TikTok about the gradient, where he's saying, like, everything has to be learned in the gradient. You can't, if you learn something that's higher up in the gradient than you're meant to, he says that, you know, you're not going to learn it properly, and it's not going to be, do you know what I mean? It's going to be bad. Like, you have to learn it on a gradient. Well, that's information control. If you think about it, you know, and it's all very cleverly crafted like that for a reason, you know, but it's packaged beautifully. You know, it's so incredibly, for my opinion, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm insulting you by saying this stuff, you know. And like you say, invalidating people's wins, and that's not what I'm about at all. We're just we've had two completely different journeys, one on the inside and one on the outside, you know, and I don't mean any offense to you at all, but for me, no, I know, I just feel really awful. For me, for me, it's the most sophisticated mind control operation in the world. That's how I feel about it. That's how strongly I feel about, you know, the tech or whatever, or the whole thing. And when I went, so let's talk about how we met. So I went up to Edinburgh with the lovely Jojo Bananas and Irish Mart, who are awesome activists in the community. And we went up to Edinburgh Org because nobody had been protesting there for about maybe 15 years. And I'm actually originally from Glasgow. I used to have a Scottish accent like you. Anyway, I thought, well, let's go and protest at Edinburgh. It hasn't had any attention for a while, and see see, we knew who Malcolm was because of past protests we've watched. And I actually know somebody who is the brother of, do you know Brian Wordy?
Oh, Billy. Yeah. You're talking about Billy?
Yeah. Did I tell you?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah. I'm really close to Billy, and he's fantastic. He's lovely. And
Alex pictures that he could forward to Billy about how his brother's doing. So
that's amazing. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. He's got about 25 members of his family in Scientology that he hasn't seen for, some of them, 35 years. You know, they kept his mother's whereabouts from him for such a long time, and she was suffering with dementia, and they wouldn't tell him where she was. And he eventually, like, took him about 4 years, but he managed to track down where she was, what nursing home she lived in. And he went to see her, and Scientology had told the nursing home not to let him visit, that he was a danger and all of this. And he went in and he said she didn't even have any soap. She was dressed in rags, you know, she was not looked after at all. And it was just awful, you know. There's so many, I'm sorry, but there's so many awful stories. And then when she died, like, they'd conned all of her estate out of her, all her money out of her, you know. There's a lot of elder abuse that goes on as well, and I don't want to, like, throw all this information at you. Like, you've had a hell of a week, and there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, sorry, I tried to say it was going to be casual, didn't I?
It's okay. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
I keep saying it, but the people deserve to know the truth and what actually occurs and what actually happens. And I know these people, and I've met some of these people, and it's just I'm not really concerned about myself, but I'm, like, concerned about them and the fact that they haven't had updates from family in years. And if I provide that, I'm more than happy to.
It's just amazing.
Like,
you coming out like this is, I don't think you realize how huge it is. It's massive. It's like a little almost like a little gateway in, and people are, like, frantically trying to see their families and stuff. So many disconnections. And, you know, I even said to Malcolm, actually, when we were protesting, I said, what about family disconnection? And he said, oh, no family disconnections. And I'm thinking, you're full of shit, mate, you know. But yeah, so we'll go back to sorry, we go off tangents, but how we met. So we went out, so me and Joe were like, let's go in and have a stress test. I don't know why, I just out of sheer morbid curiosity to see what a stress test was. I thought I was going to be asked lots of questions and things, you know, but no, you just ask. So we come in and we met you, and I just thought, oh wow, he looks young, you know. And I thought, oh no, this lovely lad, you know. And you were so sweet, and I cried. Do you remember? Bloody
yeah.
You asked me to see if we could read a thought or a time when I felt, or something I felt angry about or stressed about. Yeah. And like I said, I lost my dad last year, and there's this, I refuse to call her my stepmom because she was never a stepmom to us, but she actually brainwashed my dad, and she kind of kept us apart for about 32 years. And when I last went to see him, I didn't know who he was. I didn't recognize him. You know, he was not the dad that I knew when I was young. I might even get upset now, but so that's my my button or whatever, my reactive my reactive thing. And you were so beautiful with it. You were just so, I could see in your face, I could see how much you cared, and I can see that you really want to help people. And then I just didn't know what to do, because I was like, so I don't know what our plan was. We just wanted to go in and see what was going on in there, see if there was any kids in there, you know, and kind of get a grasp of what's going on. And yeah, we met you, and then I think you did a stress test on Joe.
I think what Joe said was, I can't even remember the whole thing, but I think Joe said that there was some sort of accident that had happened.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so she's got something that I don't know how much I can say, but it's something that's going to probably be with her for a long time, and she's in pain, you know. And then you said about the touch assist, and I think did she buy the assist book? I think she did, didn't she? Yeah. What worried me was that you you said like sort of off the bat that she would be able to stop taking her medication, and yeah, I've put you on the spot, aren't I? But yeah, that's what kind of worried. That's what worried us. We could have had other people. Somebody else might have had a go at you and said, "Well, you can't advise that." And this is the worry with you've got the auditing, which is sort of spiritual counselling or whatever to help people, but there's people who might have like really serious mental conditions and stuff, and you've got these people sort of treating them or helping them that aren't qualified, don't have any qualifications, you know. And to me, that's a worry, you know. What do you think about that? Sorry, mate.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because the thing is, I had so many fights with like the FBO and with certain staff members.
What's the FBO? Sorry, if you just. So you're using a lot of terminology here for like people that don't know. Yeah,
I know. It's almost like you're speaking Martian or something, and then you have to.
And you know what? As well, the more you use that language, they're actually it's hypnotic commands, and you're keeping yourself in that. You can keep yourself in that state, so be careful with that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm saying it from a caring place, you know. I'm not telling you what to do, but yeah. Anyway, sorry, an FBO. Was it? Who was the FBO?
The FBO is, you know, in the whole Scientology organization, you have jobs and you have job titles and job posts and, you know, your office and whatnot. The FBO is the flag banking officer. Right. So the thing is, the reality of that whole entire organization, especially in Scotland, is it's so highly unstable that nobody actually even wears their hat or does their job because there's just not enough staff. At all.
Yeah.
Right, my mom is not just the boss. I mean, he does fucking calling. He calls people to come in, you know, 50 calls a day, whatever. So the FBO, so basically, just to kind of answer that, see, like, you'll have your own personality and your own characteristics and how you know, go about stuff and what makes you and whatnot. And for me, they wanted to turn me into a salesman. So that's not what I wanted. I wanted to do like the PR stuff and like, you know, I felt like I loved at the time I loved Drug-Free World and I loved helping people rehabilitate their lives. So I was like really, really into PR, but they're like, oh my God, Amir's just selling so many books. So we were going to stick him as a salesman in the organization, and then we're going to stick him. We're going to take him off that, and then we're going to stick him as a salesman in Division 6. So whenever I would call people or like, you know, do a stress test, because all a stress test is a sales pitch and all personality test. You have a script that you need to follow, so you know what you're supposed to say and how you go about things. Obviously, you know, TR1.
The hard sell.
Absolutely hard.
Yeah.
Part of the TRs as well. TR1 is you read a piece of material and you make it into your own thing and you make it you. But I mean, those I still meant every single bit of those words, but I hate sales. So whenever I a little bit too rough or this is a little bit too straightforward or too direct and whatnot, that would get hammered out of me completely. And I would, you know, I'd need to drill it and practice. And that's a bad habit and that's aberrated and that's this and that's that. So they really
you're being conditioned. Like, can I just ask, like, so this, you're saying these drills and so it's like a repetition. How often was this happening and how long for? Are you talking about every day for hours or?
You get drilling every day. Yeah, you get drilling every day.
Wow. So like just before you go out to sell books or whatever, you'd go through the drills and
for sure. I mean, every weekday, I mean, you have a meeting at 1 o'clock. Then after the meeting at 1 o'clock, then you do some drilling and some practice. And that could be with a top executive that was trained at Flag in America, or that could be with someone else. And they're like, okay, have you sold anything? Or what's your numbers like? Well, I sold 1 book or I sold blah, blah, blah. Not high. Right, let's do some drilling. And then you do drilling on sales. And then you do drilling on, you know, it could be a stress test, personality test, depending on what you're doing in that day. But before they start their day, they usually do drilling. So basically, it was just hammered out of me completely, any soft or niceness. So they just turned me into this complete, solid fucking salesman that had to get people through their considerations and barriers. So it wasn't me, but it was drilled into me from an executive standpoint, and because I was an executive at the time. In fact, there wasn't a post I had where I wasn't an executive, so I had a lot of responsibility to make the
I think the titles are kind of like really over the top. Do you think?
Yeah, it's really intense. There's my first ever job was the HCO Executive Secretary, the HES, which ultimately meant that I held oh my God, my English has gone out of the window now. I heard, fucking hell, I can't even speak.
You're all right. You're all right. I love that you can speak Arabic. I love it.
Yeah, I know. That's I know that was an asset ability. But
they would have you go into bloody. I'll tell you what, they'd be having you go into Dubai or something like that. Get you into the Arabic countries, like Arabic speaking. I love that you're dual lingo. Definitely bilingual. Whatever. Yeah.
They use that a lot. But I held a whole third of that organization. And so one of my jobs, or in fact my first ever job, was to make the weekly income to make the org survive and pay its bills. So I had to sit down with public who were going in on service course, new people that had been there for 50 years. I sat down with Brian Wordy many times, and I had to reg them for thousands of pounds just to keep the org alive, basically. And I would have died if because I don't like being a salesman. I hate it. I like PR stuff, but like I don't. So I would have died, or I would have become a chain smoker if I kept doing that till today.
Do you smoke?
No, I don't drink and I don't smoke.
Yeah, same. But you just find that a lot of, especially people in the Sea Org, they all smoke. Like they smoke loads.
I know. I mean, David is a big smoker.
Do you know why?
No, I have no idea.
Because Hubbard said, and it's in one of the lectures, I can't remember which lecture, I'll have to find it and I'll clip it and I'll send it to you. He said that not smoking enough causes lung cancer. So people think that smoking more stops cancer.
I mean, it's just fucking insane, isn't it? I mean...
there's so much fucked up stuff that bloke said. You're just like, what? And don't even get onto the alien stuff, man. Like, like...
Yeah, not smoking enough will cause lung cancer. Not smoking enough will cause lung cancer. If anybody is getting a cancerous activity in the lung, the probabilities are that it's radiation dosage coupled with, and what it does is start to run out the radiation dosage, don't you see?
This is the power that he had over people's minds, that they would believe that smoking more wouldn't give you lung cancer. That's when you know it's a cult, like it's just insane. Yeah.
Lecture.
Hey?
Is it a lecture?
I think it's in a lecture. It's quoted somewhere that you can find it online. If you put not smoking enough will give you cancer. It might be on a video. I don't know. I will find it and I will send it to you. I promise. Because it was actually funny on TikTok. Somebody was saying on one of my videos. I think I might have put that quote up actually, and somebody goes, "Hubbard didn't smoke." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Did he smoke like a chimney?" No, he didn't, because they've actually started whitewashing the image. They don't show him smoking, and they've cut certain things out. Like they cut out his first son because his son spoke out against him in court. I don't know if you know about L. Ron Hubbard Jr. Yeah. Like his first wife and everything's all cut out, or his second. Was it his second? He's had 3 wives. All of this
at the IES event, Diana Hubbard.
Oh, did you? His daughter? Yeah, right. Yeah.
Was because I nearly met David Miscavige. He was a few inches away from me at the charity concert on Sunday, but I mean that dude's got security up his ass, and you couldn't get anybody.
Yeah. He's got armored cars and all sorts, mate. Like it's just insane.
I mean, Malcolm, the ED at HAPI, was taking me home, so I had to wait for him when he had a 7-hour EDs meeting with chairman of the board. So I fell asleep in the refectory, but that like. Every exit is secured with a blackout SUVs, and he has security standing outside. And I mean, Diana Hubbard, I was very lucky to meet because I was with the Jive Aces, and basically during the charity concert, I was with a few. I met all the Cardones. I met Scarlett Cardone and whatnot, and then I sat at the front because number one, the charity concert is for free for all staff members, and number two, there's no reserved seating, so you can sit right at the front, like where the stage is. So and then I was talking to the guy from like East Grinstead Football Club who's about to go on stage and get a 50 grand check. And then I stayed at the very end, took some pictures with the Jives. I know John very well from the Jive Aces and whatnot. So, and then, you know, whenever they come up to HAPI, I've spoken to them. And then a lady with just red hair walks into the group and everyone's face changes. And I said, John, who is that? Yeah, I know, literally. John, who is
We're not worthy. Like Wayne's World, yeah.
We're not worthy.
That was the behavior for sure. And
wow,
yeah. So we have her album, or we had her album in the organization. So people like.
Is it any good? Is it any good? I haven't listened to it yet.
I've not listened to it. I've not listened. I think it's a vinyl.
You know, Hubbard used to say Hubbard had many talents. He used to play the piano and all sorts of stuff. And have you heard some of the music? It's fucking horrendous.
No, I've never heard it.
So funny. I've actually done a few parodies of the songs off the album. It's called The Road to Freedom, I think. And it's just, it's real cheesy, like 80s yacht rock. You know, it's really shit. But yeah, one song, I can't remember what it is, but he says this line at the end and his voice goes, ooh, like really low, and it's so hilarious.
That's their concern, not mine, my friend. They're free to fantasize.
So funny. Anyway, yeah, so you met her. What was she like? Did you get to chat with her, or?
I just said hello to her. So we had a very, very, very quick conversation. She was just pretty cool. I mean, she looked like she. So when I read Tony Ortega's Substack, she came of international base, and she looked tired. She did look very like her eyes were all baggy and low and whatnot, and she was just like trying to get through the day. But she came over and she was talking to the Jives, and they started. She was just, you know, praising them like fuck, and just, oh my god, I loved your performance, and I loved this and this. And then they got into my category and they started geeking out about Gene Kelly in 1950s films. And then they were kind of talking about that, and then she looked at me. I assumed correctly that she was Sea Org. So I said, oh, hi sir, very nice to meet you. My name's Amir from HAPI, which is Hubbard Academy of Personal Independence.
What did you think about having to call her sir?
I mean, it's kind of weird, but then it's drilled into you for 2 years, and so you don't even think about it. So it's
how do they drill that into you? Like, why is that drilled into you? Because for me, it seems really misogynistic. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's like it's very much like the military with these rankings, post titles, and respect to any senior. And especially Diana Hubbard, who's, you know, we're talking about LRH's daughter here as well, who's an international. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it was weird, and there's many people, like friends that I hadn't seen, and I was like, do I have to call you sir? And they were like, nah, don't worry. I was like, all right, fair enough. But there was people and I was a staff member, and when I'm going down to East Grinstead, I'm going down as a staff member. So I'm around all of these top executives, and I'm around international management and Commodore's messengers and guys from CLO, the Continental Liaison Office, dealing with management in the UK, and all of these guys I had to deal with, so I had to address them as sir. And I'm being told this is out of respect. This is a guy who's senior to everybody. So you just yes sir, okay sir.
Yeah. Can I ask as well though? Was there anyone wearing? Have you ever seen anyone wearing the naval uniforms, or is that completely gone now?
I haven't seen it. I wish it's, but I've seen pictures of it. But
yeah, do you not think that was weird? Because it's like, I don't know. I suppose I just find it so weird, isn't it? I just think it's so weird. It goes back to the old days of him. You know, he's just playing. He's cosplaying being in the Navy because he failed in the Navy. That's my opinion, anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was talking here last week, and then she was like, oh yeah, I don't wear my ranking because it's like an MU, it's like a misunderstood for people, and they might ask about it. So they still have their rankings, and they wear it right on their collar, like these naval stripes and whatnot. But but they all, like Saint Hill have their uniform, Flag have their uniform. I think they're pretty. I've got them in magazines, so they're pretty easy to access. And then besides that, like it's mostly suits, and they have their Sea Org belts. But
the buckle. Yeah, I've seen that.
Like, David Miscavige, like COB, is the captain of the Sea Org, and he walks about cruising around in a suit. So yeah.
So I'm holding back so much. I'm like... Little Davy of the fake Space Navy is what people call him.
Yeah, well, I heard he has his meeting with the EDs on Monday. So it's very famous that if you're an executive director of an organization, an ED of an org, especially an FEBC org, Flag Executive Briefing Course, which they were away training for fucking 3 years, which is just a piss take in itself, right?
All the EDs from around the world at the same time in like a conference, or
ED that can go there goes to the ED's meeting on Monday, which is after the charity. And COB, from when I asked about it, Dave had his desk in the middle of the Great Hall, and so everyone was around. And I can send you a picture of what the Great Hall looks like. But that's basically your base as a staff member and where you work from and operate from and have your meetings and whatnot. But Dave has security after every exit, and he has his desk in the middle of the room, and so he'll point at the table when he's addressing a certain org or whatnot. And I think Malcolm even said he had his sleeves like rolled up. So
show off those forearms, because he's quite muscly, isn't he? He's quite like, because he's short, he has to make up for that by I believe he goes to the gym every day. Like he has his own gym. He's got his own personal chef, his own personal hairdresser. He's got multiple top of the range armored cars. He lives a life of luxury, but a life in hiding, because he's got multiple lawsuits out on him at the moment for human trafficking, kidnapping, forced child labour, coercive fundraising, all of that. So when I see people going, oh, amazing, COB and all that, I just think, fuck, man, like, it's crazy. Like, he's not a nice person. He's horrible. And it's on this act of, hi, I'm David Miscavige. Davey, get your shit together. If you're watching, because I know Ota watches my stuff, but come on, mate, the game's up. Just you're getting on a bit. Pack it in.
Getting on with it. He's not necessarily. I mean, like he does. He's got his own, private chef and whatnot, but he's still a chain smoker and drinks just whiskey a lot all the time. So when you see him with the events, like he's not looking the best, and he's like 63 or 64 or something. I mean, him and Tom are the same age. So, yeah.
I think he's shorter than Tom, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's shorter than Tom.
Oh, he is short. I seen Tom because I went to the patrons ball and Tom was right behind me at his table. So I've seen him in person, but Dave is shorter than Tom. And the thing is about COB is he wears shoes that like platforms that elevate him. So he's probably a lot smaller than what I seen. But he's like 5'1" or 5'2". He's fucking tiny.
And he hates it.
Lou? Have you heard of Lou? Who? Lou.
Lou
who? Oh my god. Do you know because Shelley's out of the scene now at CST, Church of Spiritual Technology. Do you know he has a new communicator called Lou? Are you aware of this? No, seriously. Oh my god. So
I don't know how I'm very curious to know about how it all goes on up at the top, because there used to be all these executives and what do you call it? So you'd have the Commodore, and then I don't know. I'm like thinking Marty Rathbun and all that kind of setup. I don't know what the setup's like up top now. I would have thought he'd isolated himself more and got rid of a lot of positions, I believe. But So who's Lou? Who's Lou?
mean, everything's changed. There's no president of Scientology. There's no ED International. There's no watchdog committee. There's no any of that shit anymore.
He's doing all of it micromanaging, I believe.
Yeah, and he's also just hiring and firing people. And I mean, like CLO, like the Continental, they're all getting booted out. Like they're all getting booted out. Like the guy who is COCLO, the commanding officer of all of the UK, of the Continental Liaison Office, right? He's getting kicked out, and they all are, because, Alex did a piece on this very recently, an article that COB said that he's embarrassed with the state of the UK.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
They're all getting booted out, and it was said at that meeting, listen, you need to get your fucking stats up, because I've got your replacements on FEBC training at Flag, and I can pull them any minute. But they're getting booted out like it's a ticking time bomb. They'll be kicked off, and so there'll be a new COCL. So everyone is getting, they're not doing good enough, and they're getting booted out, or they're being sent to Flag for 3 years for exec training and whatnot. But Lou is his communicator. So Lou basically follows him everywhere.
Like a secretary, kind of like a personal assistant.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So
God, sod having that job, eh? That'd be an impossible job.
I know, but she's been doing it for decades now at this point. So I think since the early 2000s.
Okay. Is this the one? I think I know who you mean. What's her full name? It's short for something, isn't it, Lou?
Yeah, I can't remember. Louise something.
Yeah, I think it was rumoured that he was having an affair with her when he was with Shelley. I don't know. And then Shelley's been banished, and so God.
I mean,
wow.
I did some research on it, and people that work with David Miscavige at International Base and that were around Lou didn't really. I mean, Mike Ringer didn't think that they were having an affair. So those guys.
It's a rumour. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's not really anyone's business, is it? To be fair, but
Yeah, but that's basically secretary and communicator, and so I seen her. I mean, when I spoke to Chris Sheldon, he was like, "Amir, you're not Sirach, but that's the closest you're ever going to get to that world of international management and meeting all the guys from the international base and whatnot." But she's just behind him, and he's meeting all these donors, and then she's got a notebook and a pen, and she's taking all these notes and whatnot, and she's just literally staying glued right. She's not standing beside him, she's standing right behind him, taking all these notes and he's just going from person to person. I tried to meet David, and I met Tom Cummings, I met Trish Duggan, I met close to meeting Tom, so I met a few of those guys, and then I seen David when I was about to leave, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go walk up to COB and just shake his hand and speak to him. He's a fascinating dude, and it doesn't matter like if it's the bad stuff you've heard or you've heard the overwhelming praise that people give him. He's a fascinating fucking guy, and I've read his dad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
He's a fascinating guy, man. So I read his dad's book, like Ruthless, and it was.
You did? Okay. When did you read it? Not when you were in.
Yeah, when I was in.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't read that one yet, but I bet that was interesting. Yeah.
Right at the end, man. It was like Ron Miscavige just gives a message to his son, and it's just like, fuck me. So that was difficult. But I walked up to him, and his COB security are all Sea Org members, and so they were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, hello, hi, buddy. My name's Amir.
Little me from Edinburgh. Hi." I'm like fangirling or fanboying. I just.
Yeah, just
shake his hand.
Yeah, I can't. I've read about it so much, and I've heard so many interviews on podcasts. I can't believe I'm actually meeting people from international management and the base. So I'm like, holy fuck! I'm gonna meet all these guys while I'm here. So I go up, and you're just like, who the fuck are you? And it was definitely a mistake I made trying to meet him. But they were like.
It was a womp 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 moment.
I had 4 security guards told me kick me out of the tent that night just for trying to meet.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, they don't. They're like, listen. So there's a lot of we don't really want anything on his lines, on his comm lines right now, and he's meeting very very specific people. And I look, and he's just meeting the donors, basically, the guys that paid a fuck ton of money. So he's like, yeah. He's meeting very, very, very specific people right now. So I'd like you to leave the tent, please. I had a problem with that because I had every right with the shit I went through as a staff member. I had every right to have a good time in the charity concert with my friends. And I'm meeting the Cardones and I'm meeting all these people. So it's a pretty big party, And then, so I was like, all right, fine, I'll go away, but I'm not going to leave the tent or anything like that. So I just went and I took some more pictures with the drives, and that's how I met Diana Hubbard. So if I listened to them, then I wouldn't have met her. But it's just because I stuck around, and I stuck around where the stage is at the very front.
Good for you, man. You paid for your ticket or whatever, and like
yeah.
Oh dear! After all that hard work as well, going back to all the hard work that so you're in this high pressure job, like I can imagine very, very well, it's controlling, isn't it? You're having this kind of conditioning every day with these drills. It's being conditioned to become hard, like you say, like kind of this, I don't know, this different, it wasn't you said, like, so. And then, but it's like, seems like this whole world you've come, like, it enveloped you. Do you know what I mean? Like all of these top executives and stuff. And it's funny because when you're talking about these top executives, right, from an outsider's point of view, I have a really good friend who was born into Scientology in Australia, and she was trafficked and grew up in LA at the Big Blue building and stuff like that. And she managed to like route out, I can't remember how many years ago, but she came back to Australia and she routed out and everything. Yeah. And she was actually sexually abused by her own father in the church.
Yeah.
They blamed it on her at the age of 6. They told her it was her fault. She pulled it in. And they put her back with her abuser again, and he abused her again. Like, so she's been through horrendous stuff. Anyway, 2 years ago when I first started the protest, I ended up getting lots of people to do a big protest outside Melbourne Org, and it was the biggest protest in Australia. I'm very proud. The biggest protest in Australia for 16 years, and with 19 people. But she was with me, and it was very triggering at first. It was very, very hard to go to that place, and I can't imagine what it's like for somebody that's been through abuse like that and still fighting for justice decades later, and I believe justice will be served one day, somehow or another. Anyway, we went at the end because she was taking me to the airport. I could only be there for 24 hours, do this protest, stay overnight. And she decided, she said, fuck it, let's go in there. And I was like, what? So we held hands and we went running up to the door, up to the org. And this guy, with all his suit on, he wasn't Sea Org, but he's very smartly dressed and all this. And he's just a young guy. Anyway, go up and we're like, blah, 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 just chatting. And she's asking him what his position is and if he's been to flag and all of these questions and stuff. And as soon as they ask you to leave, that's it. You're trespassed. You have to go. Otherwise, they'll phone the police. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we walked off. He trespassed us. We walked off. And then we're driving up to the airport. And she goes, I can't believe I did that. When I was in my 20s, I used to be scared of people like him. I'd be terrified of people like him, and they'd be telling me what to do, and they have this power. And I said, mate, they're all just pricks in suits. At the end of the day, it's in the real world, out of Scientology, all of this shit means nothing.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, fucking, like, so it's for me, it's like all part of this whole, like, when you walk into an org, maybe not Edinburgh because it's this little tiny org, but these orgs like London, for example, I've been in London, and you walk in there and it's like this beautiful building, and it's the lighting, the smiles and everything. And we call it Lara FM. She goes, well, that's the Disneyland effect. It is. It's like walking into this pretty, like, Disneyland. And that's the start of it. That's the start of all of this whole freaking world that's like built around you. And I think that's why I emailed you that day, because I couldn't stop thinking about you. I was worrying. I emailed you and said, I couldn't imagine how hard it would be, because part of your world, your world's just kind of it's all just come falling down? Maybe, I don't know, but that's what I wanted to ask you, because I don't know if this has been a gradual thing. What was the point where, because you're telling me about all this stuff where you're out selling and they're drilling you to be this person you're not. Did you notice that at the time, or do you see it now in hindsight? Were you just so in the moment and under pressure that you didn't have time to think about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
sorry, that was a lot.
No,
please tell me to shut up at any time. I know I talk way too much.
No, you're doing great. Absolutely fine. I mean, I noticed at the time, but you can't. Okay. There's no back chat as a staff.
Backflashing.
Yeah, like and if there is, then you need handling. But basically, Hubbard's policy is law over there, and you don't have to agree with it. You need to apply it and do it. So I just had to keep my gob shut, and then after said, "Listen, Amir, you're doing it this way, and you're being you, but it's not really getting any products. But this is the way that this is standard, and this is the way that Ron writes it here in this policy. So we're going to apply what LRH says, and wear your hat, basically." So I did know it at the time, but I mean, I guess in hindsight now, what I'm realizing is you put up with a lot of shit. You put up with a lot of shit, and CR guys get it worse than Class 5 staff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like, I mean, when would you say this pressure started? You said you were put on this big job like after a week, did you say? And it's like, that's such a short amount of time. Like, it feels like, I know one of the tactics of like controlling cults is that you keep people really, really busy so that they don't have time to think about things, And another one, especially in the Sea Org, is sleep deprivation, so that they're so tired, and you're running on adrenaline and stress, and you're on like in kind of fight or flight all the time, and it's not good for your nervous system, And I've been there. I've been through that kind of pressure and setting before myself. At what point did this kind of control and pressure come in really, really slowly, or was it the whole? Do you think it was like, because I know probably a lot of love bombing at the beginning and saying, how you got this potential and you're a really good person, you're going to be this amazing actor and all of that, and really, really love bombing you. You probably will be an amazing actor if that's what you still want to do that. I can see you doing that. I think that'd be bloody brilliant. You could be the next Tom Cruise. Fucking not.
Yeah, unfortunately, with what I'm about to do to these guys, I don't think Tom's going to want to meet me anymore. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
You never know. We could get him out. We could go on a Mission Impossible and get Tom Cruise out.
Man, I mean,
you can go on the wires, right? You go on the wires, and I'll be there doing the just thingamabobbing their alarms, and then we'll get one of them laser cutters and whatever. We'll have to find out where he is. Well, we know where his penthouse is, right? So we'll come up. We'll talk about the plan, and we'll break him out.
Moved out of his London flat very recently. I don't know if you've seen the article on that.
Oh, yeah, he's moved to London, isn't he? Yeah, because his daughter was there, I think. Yeah.
So, it's very, very interesting. I mean, the sleep deprivation thing, it happens with Sea Org, but it also happens with Class 5 staff. And I'll give you an example. Malcolm is the ED. Recently, not become so fond of Malcolm due to the punishment that he's enforced upon me for doing an interview. But Malcolm is the ED in Scotland, okay?
Yeah.
He I mean, listen, this is a guy that prides himself on being the only ED that can make COB laugh. Anyway. Those guys are trying to go ideal like this year. That's part of their strategic planning. So they're going full blown on recruitment, on staff, on everything. And I mean, he got that shop open because he spoke to COB at that meeting, and he got the renovations done because he spoke to David Miscavige at that meeting, and he is in close communication with David Miscavige via telexes and his communicator. So he and also Malcolm, just how he is and his personality and whatnot. He tells the worst.
Seems lovely. It's such a shame because he does seem really lovely, and when he's doing all the angry, grumpy stuff with you, with the fucking, really hammering down on you, I imagine that he's under a lot of pressure as well. Do you know what I mean? And
as well, I mean, these guys are fucked because what we're saying right now, and for example, if I take what T is saying right now, right? T, you left a few comments when we started up our TikTok page. Malcolm seen that and he deleted it and blocked you. And then also several other staff seen that and they said that you were 1-1 on the tone scale and covert hostile. So it's sick. It's very sick. And when you
no, they're right. They're right. Amir, they're right. I am 1.1 on the tone scale, and I've actually got a T-shirt that proves it because it says a gay psychiatrist on it. So there you go. That's funny as. What else did they say about me? I need to know. So they knew who I was because he come out. He tried it. I think, I don't know. Malcolm, to me, I can't see him being intimidating. I'm sorry. I haven't seen that horrible side, but does he go? He come out and he goes, "Oh, you're Australian, are you?" Like that, and I'm like, "No, I'm Scottish, mate." You know, but how did he get intimidating? Tell me, because
so the way that Scientologists, public Scientologists, like Tom Cummings and just raw public, not staff, not CEO, raw public, the way that they view COB, how the fuck is he mean? How is he? You know, he's lovely. Come on, what? Come on. But then people that work with him side by side are like, this dude is ruthless. He's a ruthless bastard. That's the way that I'm gonna give you Malcolm.
Yeah. If you've got a lot of money though, like Cummings, you know, you're treated differently again. You know, there's different treatment for different people. You've got your public, your staff, your Sea Org. Then you've got all your executives and all that, and then you've got your really, really rich high donors, and then they're celebrities. They're celebrities in Scientology, aren't they? You know, and they're treated very differently. They basically got Kakan. Do you know what I mean? Did you hear about Kakan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, like and there's been cases of actual kiddie fiddlers getting away with it because they've got money. They don't get chucked out of the church.
Do you know Tom staff member? Did you know that?
He's a staff. I know. I heard. Is what? Sorry.
Tom Cummings was a staff member in Tampa.
Yeah.
So, I just, you know, Manuel Suarez was a staff member. Like I found that out like just very, very recently that these guys were actually staff.
Okay.
Grant Cardone was never a staff member. Obviously, Tom, no. John Travolta, no. But Tom Cummings and whatnot were at one point. But honestly, in regards to Malcolm, I know because I worked with him and I have text messages and I have, I have the facts to back it up. But everyone is intimidated by that guy. Even his wife is intimidated by that guy because Malcolm doesn't even report to St. Hill. He reports to CMO in international management.
Right up the lines, right? He's ruthless, yeah.
The reason being is because he is to be more trained than St. Hill and CL because he's done the FEBC for 3 years.
So what? All these silly training courses, you know.
Right. So he's actually more trained than St. Hill, and he's their senior. So he just goes right up to international, and all the FEBC guys are the same. It's the only guys that report to St. Hill are like Sunderland and Plymouth and Brighton. These guys are not OEC FEBC. They're not fully headed. They're not fully trained. They're not clear class 5s. They're not done the data series, the exec series. So
he's right into it.
So he gets for sure. So people that work with COB will give an order, then they'll give it to Malcolm. So he is under, and again, you know, they're trying to go ideal this year. So anything you do will fuck up their plans. Anytime you go out and protest on a weekend when they're most busy and active will fuck up their plans. You'll fuck up their first service starts. You'll fuck up their book sales. Anything, because they're trying to go ideal this year. They're by December.
So when you say ideal, so that bottom shop, that's not enough to be ideal. It's not big enough.
No. That's just.
But they have another building. Are you talking about the other building? They want that building done this year.
Yes.
Fuck off. Well, do you know about my campaign against that? Have you seen that? What I've done?
Videos, yeah.
we went to the accommodation next door and gave like hundreds of leaflets to the students and warned them about Scientology.
As soon as you decided to protest outside of the building, that information went to Ulster, that information went to the DSA in Edinburgh, that information is with the DSA Dublin, and I know because I've been interrogated on this stuff for 2 weeks straight about you, and if I'm still speaking to you, if I'm still in communication with you, how I got in touch with you, how I reacted to your comments, all of that stuff I was interrogated on. And again,
Wow.
I can't speak about it, but I have evidence going to the fucking roof at this point because I collected so much information over those 2 weeks. So they have no idea what's coming to them, and I'll reveal everything when the investigation is over. But But yeah, anything you do from now on will fuck up their expansion plans. The shop, unfortunately, you can't do anything about. Malcolm's already collected staff. Well, he's now lost me and lost a few other people.
Other people have left as well because of you, or
yeah.
Good.
Because I sent them the link for the video, and they were like, Amir, don't tell anyone my name or anything, but fuck this, I'm not going back there. And I'm so sorry, and thank you for giving me this information. I had people invite me over to dinner because they wanted me to tell them the story. I've had. I could make a list of people that are not ever going back into that organization again because, Alex told me, and I couldn't believe it. It kind of took me a minute to process, but he was like, Amir, as soon as you got RPF, you're actually a victim of modern day slavery. Yeah. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, it's still a thing. It's
amazing when someone puts it into perspective, and I kind of like, for me, like I went through some severe abuse 26 years ago, and I've only from joining this community, I knew about certain abuses, obviously because they were obvious, but there was listening to people that have left Scientology and talking about the abuses they went through. I've been like, shit, that happened to me, 26 years later. I didn't realize it, so I kind of get that, and it's just like, whoa, and that's why I've been kind of worried about you doing so many interviews and stuff, because it's a lot to process.
I've spoken to people from America, and I've spoken to people from the UK scene, and obviously you as well, T. And the amount of support and also just the preparation. Alex has obviously been phenomenal in guiding me through the whole thing, and he's walked through it for years now, and so he knows a lot of people, and he's also been through a lot as well, so he can prep me. But what I'm about to do, which I can't discuss right now, but what I'm about to do will open me up to perhaps some kind of fair game. But I'm prepared for all of it, and if such thing was to take place, that would not be a wise move for OSA, due to, well, first of all, you wouldn't be able to get any evidence that I have because I've got it so widely distributed, and I also have family that are in law enforcement and investigations, so that wouldn't be. And then there's also cameras in the house. That would not be a wise thing as well. So, and also, if they were to come after friends and family, then it would not be a smart strategic thing on their behalf, so they could take that as some sort of warning. But I've been prepared on so many different things at this point, so I'm ready for it. But I think people just need to know the truth. And the good thing is I can say what's happening in the last 3 years. What's happening in 2026, 2025, 2024, 2023. Not what's happening 20 years ago, which is just as useful, by the way. But I'm very much...
Exactly, yes, yeah. This is what I'm saying. What you're doing is so valuable because... Yeah, there's not anyone that's recent, and they can just say, "Oh, well, things have changed since then. Things have changed," and that's why what you're doing is so incredible and so valuable, so important. And I am honestly just so proud of you, and I just think you're the bravest soul at the moment for doing this. And it's what we need. We need this to help stop other people joining, and help people get out as well, and hopefully have the courage if they're seeing you speaking up, and it will empower others to do the same, because it's gone on for long enough now. There's lots of people that haven't seen their family members, and lots of people that have been abused, and we just want some sort of justice. And You're a very, very important person at the moment. Well, you are anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just incredible. And oh my God, like, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. But it sounds like a lot of pressure as well, you know? So, yeah, I'm glad you got support.
Yeah, I might change. I'm feeling an overwhelming amount of support. You know what, though? Just I completely forgot about this during the conversation, but massive thank you and shout out to Steve Hassan, by the way. That dude is incredible. I mean, I was watching him from when I was still an exec involved in it, and
yeah,
that was something that did help me leave, and that also helped me do that interview with Alex and reach out to him, was because, you know, just that, you know, that when you break down BITE and what it stands for and whatnot, and I was like, okay, information control, right? Well, I have human rights. Yeah, exactly. That's it right there. Fucking screenshot it. Basically, I have human rights at the end of the day, and I can speak to whoever I speak to. So I was like, you're not going to control my information and what I consume and what I watch and whatnot. So I was taking from what Steve was saying, and Steve's done a lot of interviews with John Atack, with Aaron, with a lot of different people as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have not come to read his book just yet, Combat and Cult Mind Control, and he's done he's done a few books, Steve. But
he's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing.
Amazing, and he's. I've tried to actually reach out to him, but he's been a massive.
I've reached out to him as well. He's so incredibly busy, and he was in a cult. He was in a cult himself, wasn't he? He was in the Moonies, you know. Right. Yeah, I use his BITE model all the time. You know, I think he's fantastic, and he's helped. That book has helped a lot of people leave Scientology. Have you heard of Doug Kramer?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Doug's channel.
Oh, he's a legend. I love his channel. Like, rest in peace, Doug. You know, he's just he left a very special gift behind. You know, his channel, just incredible. He's probably my favorite channel. Very sad that he's gone, but yeah, he's left in like such valuable information behind. What point did you decide that you wanted to leave? How long ago do you think it was?
So I decided to leave the moment they stuck me on the RPF. I'll tell you what, if you get taken off your job and given a 1-month ethical program, traced back to study problems, forced to do false status stripping, clay demonstration or clay table processing, plus method 9 work clearing and reading aloud to an FEBC person. Plus 6 hours of carrying weights, helping in the renovations. Like, your body is shaking at the end. It's just dead. It's non-stop. Go, 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 go. So my arms were dead. I had to carry weights upstairs. I've got all the images. I've got several other pieces of evidence documenting this. Because I was always thinking, imagine Mike Rinder could, like, imagine when he was alive, he could just stick his iPhone in his pocket and put a voice.
I know, right? They didn't have it back then. Yeah.
So I did that over 2 weeks. So I've got a fuck ton of stuff. But so it's all factual information that I can obviously prove and whatnot, which will come out at the right time. But I decided to leave as soon as they stuck me on the RPF. That was when I was like, this is. So I went upstairs. I got a Sainsbury's bag. So I went into the kitchen in the Orr, got Sainsbury's bag, went up to my office, stuck my suit in it, stuck my jacket in it, stuck my certificates for my course completions, stuck all my commendations, all my awards, and my personal belongings, went out the emergency exit so Malcolm couldn't see me leave from reception, jumped on the bus across the road, and I was like that. Oh yeah, and then jumped on the phone to Alex, and I was like, let's do an interview. Today was my last day.
Wow.
But any day on the RPF is like I'm done. If you don't have family in it, you know, that would be the only reason you would stay. But if it's just you and you're able to just dip in at 17 and dip out at 20, and then you get stuck on the RPF, then you can just fuck off and just like, I'm not coming back. Which is why it's funny, because how can you go away for 3 years in America and train, and you can't even solve a simple problem like this? And you, like, they're their own worst enemy. They shoot themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. Do you feel like a lot of do you feel angry towards them, or like what are you feeling now? Like
Yeah. I don't feel. I feel sad that there was some people in there, for example, Jenny, that
you talked about her when you were talking about the assist, and you said she's a lovely person, and most Scientologists are. They genuinely are there because they want to help people. They're decent people, and they're just sucked into this whole So
I have a take on that. I would say, okay, I need to be careful with how I say this. Okay, I'm only going to speak from my experience.
Yeah.
Most public Scientologists are beautiful, lovely people, but staff and Sea Org is a different ball game, and it becomes, when you get too much into the ethics, it's like you question the guys. Okay, when you refuse to talk to people on the street who want to challenge you a bit, and you go in the building and close the door, you're not for the people and trying to educate the people. And then when you just slam in ethics and put RPF people and stick them on ethics programs and lock them in the room and then chuck them on the meter and whatnot, you have to question, is this person at my best interest trying to really help me? Or are they just, so I'm a bit iffy-biffy, but the public, they're definitely trying to help people and trying to help the world. But the staff that I've met and the Sea Org that I've met, I question their motives a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's just me. That's the beauty of it, is it depends on the person and their experiences. That's just me and the people I've met.
It seems to change people as well. You'll get people that go in as really lovely people.
Yes.
And then like I've got a friend who's really, really close friend joined, and she said, I've watched him change slowly over the months into this different person, and I've lost him. He's not there anymore. And I don't, she reached out to me and said, like, what can I do? She was like asking me for advice. And I said, I don't bloody know, mate. There's like, all you could do is plant little seeds. And like you say, Scientology is its own worst enemy. I said, they will fuck up eventually. Yeah. Because, do you know what I mean? It's not in your best interest at the end of the day. It's not. It's just silly that you can't. They say like it's the bridge to total freedom. It's not, It's the bridge to total bankruptcy and the bridge to insanity, in my opinion. It's just.
Doug Kramer said that it was the bridge to total amnesia, and I think he did it.
Yeah. It's absolute, and it's all like you just become this. I've spoken to so many people and done so much research over the years, and there's so many people that go up the bridge, and as they go up the bridge, they just become this fake person. It's all fake. It's all image, and you're just kidding yourself on the whole time,
Yeah. So
in the end, yeah. But
you put it beautifully, T. It's control. So they will change what you see, and what I mean by that is, all right, this cup is not really a cup. This cup is a banana, and I know you see it's a cup, but I'm going to explain to you that you've got MUs and misunderstood words. And really, when we look it up in this dictionary, it's actually a banana, and this is the derivation of it. This is where it comes from. But actually, banana. So then you think, oh, okay, so it's a banana, right? And by that is, Amir, I've just went to Flag for 3 years, and I've sacrificed my family. I haven't seen them. I've went to Flag for 3 years, and at Flag it's super standard. And this is COB's training that David Miscavige is overseeing this training, and this is going to change everything. I mean, we're gonna expand this fucking entire organization. I said, all right, okay. So those guys came back in 2024. We're now in 2026. Still no ideal org. Now, they're going to say, oh my God, the amount of expansion that we've done in 2 years. This is where they control what you see. You see an empty org, an empty course room, and you can only get 1 or 2 people started on a course every week. The auditing rooms are empty. Everyone is not wearing their hats, doing their jobs. Everyone is coming down the organization board and not doing their jobs at all. There's no staff. They have a hard time with staff recruitment. They've got people coming from St. Hill and from Flag from the United States to help out with staff. They have no help, no volunteers when it comes to lectures. They can barely get 4 people to sit in those chairs when it comes to lectures and whatnot. And if they do get a big lecture like they just did in Glasgow, with 140 confirms, but only 40 people showing up and 8 people walking out, it's because it took them 1 month of promotion to do that. So you see this stuff
They
going.
walked out. 8 people walked out.
Yeah. A lot of people walked out. Yeah. It's,
Why? Just because it was shit.
a disaster.
Sorry.
The venue was terrible. The lighting was terrible. You could hardly see the Dianetics film being played. The projector would not turn up the brightness. The Glasgow Trade Rooms was like a 1950s reformed high school, very old, very ancient, very run down. Find all of their events on Eventbrite, and then that's So that happens. But the thing is, you're watching this stuff unfold and happen, but you can't really question it. And I know, and that's
then you get ethics. You can't question anything. You get punished.
Absolutely. And I pulled that card with Malcolm. I showed him New Slant on Life, and I told him, Scientology is only true if it's true for you. And he gave me some, which I have evidence of, by the way, and I can't go to it. But he gave me some outrageous examples of that fucking quote being completely pulled out of context. But the thing is, that's how you know the people you're dealing with are one flew over the cuckoo's nest. And seriously, it's a fucking cuckoo land over there, man, because you see, I've got all of the statistics from last month.
I've got to show you something quickly. When you talk about expansion, I've got it. I just found it on my phone while you were talking. Now, this is a book cover from 1980, and look what it says on it. Hang on, I think.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if you can see. Yeah, but look at that circle. Can you see what it says?
I see on the bottom. I can't see the circle.
It says 1980 is the year of expansion. So they've been selling that shit to people for fuck knows how long. 45 years have been saying it's the year of bloody expansion. It's bullshit. And this is, oh, mate, they say there's 8 million members and all of that. The reason there's no one turning up and there's, it's because it's been shrinking for years.
I know it has. I know.
You've got these events, right? And I bet you if you go to the IIS, they'll say, oh, yeah, the Dianetics event in Glasgow was a success. And we had 400 people there and da-da-da. And they feed people this bullshit. And a lot of people know it's bullshit, but they just go along with it, because you can't question it. So you can't question anything because you'll get punished. So I imagine that you're like, it would drive you like a bit nuts, wouldn't it? Because you're like, well, I have to believe it because I'm going to get punished. And then in the end, you get into this habit of just believing it just because it's the easiest thing to do, and it can actually cause like such mental health problems with people, like especially see for like children that are growing up in it and getting audited at a young age. They've created entire different personalities to deal with stuff like that. It's so dangerous.
But it is one. I mean, there's if it's the occult that that anyone finds interesting or whatever, I'm a big fan of Marty Rathbun, and I read his book, and I've seen all the documentaries that he's been in, but I found a lot of stuff that I could relate to with Marty. So he referred to it as being quite similar to Nazism in the sense where you have a lot of propaganda, which is SMP, Scientology Media Production. So you have their propaganda machine. And you see this massive, and this is, by the way, this is supposed to be a religion, just so you guys know, right? You have this massive stage with all of this, wide. And by the way, they consult with the guys who also work with the Emmys, the guys who do the Emmy Awards. That's who they consult. Setting this up and creating the stage and the lighting and the sound, the cameras and whatnot. So it's like an award show as well. But you have that, and then I spoke to someone recently, and they referred to these young Seer guys as like mini Hitlers, and it's just yes sir. What do you need me to do, sir? Okay, sir. I'm willing to prove myself, sir. And they build these production records, and they join the Sea Org at 17, 18 years old. and they'll and I also went to the OSA office. So I know that there's kids in there, man. There's young people in there as well. Like, I mean,
is the OSA office in there's one in is there one in
Hill, the one at St. Hill.
Oh, okay, yeah, there's one there and there's one in Ireland, isn't there? Yeah, there was kids in there, like working.
Well, there's a young guy in there, and there's some young people. Also, it's mostly full of old people. Like I met Graham Wilson a few times, and he was like, "Listen, we need mans. Also needs men." So they don't have a lot of resources and whatnot. But I was friends with the DSA, so I asked people, and I was also friends with everyone. So I would ask people here, "Can I get a tour of CLO?" So they took me, and literally you leave St. Hill Manor, and then you cross the road, you go up a little bit, and then you're at CLO. It's just a few minutes away. And I went and I saw the whole org board, and I saw the whole chain of command, and I went into the Office of Special Affairs office, and I met Janet Laveau, who is the commanding officer for the Office of Special Affairs. I met her twice, and I had to give her a bow tie for the patrons ball as well. So she's not really the most. If you like someone who's chatty and stuff, she's not really the most chatty person.
No, she doesn't seem the chatty side. You were at the IAS. The Patrons Ball is part of the IAS, right? It's one of the nights. Did you see any of the protesters outside when you arrived?
Yes, but that was because I jumped on a taxi. Malcolm couldn't give me a lift because I was staying in Crawley down in England, so that was 20 minutes away or something. So it would have taken 20 minutes to go there, 20 minutes to go back. So I jumped on a taxi to St. Hill, and then I saw Alex protesting at the sides.
Yeah. What day was it?
Fuck, I think it must have been Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, okay. I wasn't there then because I was there on the Friday.
Oh, seriously? Wow. Yeah. The reason the public would have seen you, but the thing is, staff have to be there at 10 o'clock in the morning for a muster. So unless you guys are there at 10 a.m. and then plus the staff are there all day regging because they have their quotas. The UK quota was the Scotland's quota was 100 grand to make for the IAS, and the UK were actually paying for the tent. That entire tent, the UK were paying for that.
Wow.
So we're there all day. And then I had fundraising dinners, and I had, so I was working from morning till night. So it wasn't.
How do you raise that much money? How, like, what's
you have
how
to
do you do that? Just networking and.
So you have to. It's hard. It's getting harder and harder because, you have such a small pond of fish now. It's shrinking.
You're asking the same people over and over. I mean, even just like asking for money is so embarrassing, like.
Yeah. I mean, it's very strategic. You go to a fundraising dinner. It's a 4-star hotel. You sit down. There's Manuel Suarez. There's Tony Toomey. There's all these guys, and then everyone's eating the best food you've ever had, and unbelievable drink. The food was fucking phenomenal in that restaurant, and you've got perfect lighting, you've got a stage, a microphone, everyone's happy, having a good time, they have a few drinks, they loosen up a little bit, then the fundraising starts. It's all very strategic. It's very, very strategic. So they have a whole structure and a way of going about things, but it's very hard to register that amount. Like, no one makes their quota. Nobody makes their quota. It's so hard to register that quota.
I imagine I know one of the tactics is, in these fundraising events, and they make them all extravagant and everything, is to get people into this state of euphoria, and then when they're on this big high, that's when you hit them. You hit them for the money and try and sell the books and all of that because they're more susceptible to doing that. There's so many different techniques in hypnotic and mind control techniques, like the confusion technique. The brain, like a lot of Hubbard's lectures are very confusing, and I think on purpose, because when you're in a confused state, your mind will grasp the nearest thing and believe it. That's how the mind works, because it's in a state of confusion. It doesn't know what to do, so it has no choice but to believe what it's being told. If that makes sense, like it's all very. It's an incredible system. It really is an incredibly dangerous system.
When you see the people outside body routing in Scotland, specifically in Scotland, okay, they would say that people are in a circuit. So people are on their phones, or they have their headphones on, and they need to try to grab their attention somehow. So when you say, "Excuse me, hello, hello," and people just pass. So there was some people from like flag CR guys, when they would go out in body route, they would say, "Oh, there's bananas on your shoe," and then the person would stop out of confusion. Then they'd say, "Yeah, have you ever done a stress test before?" and get them in. So confusion is another method or tactic to try and stop people in the building.
Massively. Yeah. It's so interesting, isn't it? I find it fascinating, but like just heartbreaking at the same time, you know. I can't believe they're going to try and get that big building done this year. No chance, mate. No chance. It's not going to happen.
So you would only, at the current rate of expansion, you're not getting anywhere fucking close to that. But if they did import people from across the world, so okay, let's say they're at 25 staff right now. Okay, let's say they do. Yeah, I know it's.
But they're already importing people to other places that are saying they're going to expand. We've got in Australia, we've got buildings that are meant empty buildings in Canberra, fucking Adelaide, and Brisbane, and they're already trying to. They're shuffling people around to all these places. You know, it's just it's not going to happen. There's not enough people.
I know, and I asked about that one.
But the other thing is, though, mate. Sorry to interrupt. There's over $1 billion in Sea Org reserves or whatever. Yeah. Why don't they just use that? It's just squeezing all of the last drop of everything out of everyone. Like, they've got the money there to do those buildings up. Yeah, and it's you know, OT 9 and 10 are meant to be released when it's all ideal. It's all a fucking massive big scammy game, and it's sickening.
Wait till you see everyone goes with L. Hubbard Hall. That was that's something. I mean, I think someone said it very well, but I think what David Miscavige is trying to do is he's trying to keep it there for life, by putting these properties. I know, and
it's money laundering. That's what it is.
I mean, you should see this. I mean, like. There's an app called Scientology Network, and that's, you know, anyway, they're very, very behind at keeping up with the times, but they post some episodes on there, and there's an episode on CST, which is the Church of Spiritual Technology, which is where some people say Shelley Miscavige is right now if she's not at the international base. But, I mean, when you look at having Ron Hubbard's words on titanium steel in a to the ground, which nobody can access and is nuclear proof, I mean, it is something out of one of his sci-fi books, literally. But I think they're just trying to preserve it in as best as way as they possibly can by trying to have flag there and all of these massive buildings and also L. Ron Hubbard Hall, and then buying up all the property in Clearwater, Florida. And then, you know, since Charlie Kirk has passed away, there's now a lot of Scientologists like that are part of that are allies with Trump, like Grant Cardone and Trish Duggan, and they're now slowly creeping into Turning Point USA. So they're and Grant being talked about for running for the governor of California. So I think they're just trying to preserve it.
Grant Cardone is running for the governor of California.
There was something on his social media about it, and then there was talks that
no way. Oh,
yeah. So
he's been cozying up to old Arnie Schwarzenegger, isn't he? You know, and he used to be the governor.
And yeah, Brian Wordy was reciting. So Brian Wordy was reciting a Scottish poem at one of the flag fundraising dinners in front of Tom Cummings and Trish Duggan, and then Trish Duggan came up to him after he recited the Scottish poem and said, "Oh my God, can I have a copy of that poem? I'm going to give it to Donald Trump." So they have these comm lines with the Trump administration, with the presidency.
Wow, interesting.
Take your letter and give it to Trump the next day. So it's and
she's the biggest donor, isn't she? I think I believe they're not together anymore, the husband or whatever. 360 million they've donated.
Yeah.
Fucking insane. Yeah. It's quite scary, actually. It's quite scary.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
For sure.
What poem was it? Out of interest, what poem was it? Do you know?
I don't. I was actually at a different fun. I was getting fucked over in it.
Oh, I'd love to know what poem it was. I do love a bit of, you know, a bit of Rabbie Burns and that. Love it. Grew up with it. I miss it. I miss my Scottish accent. You know, you wouldn't believe I used to have a Scottish accent, would you? Sound like a bloody Londoner. A Londoner with an Aussie twang. There used to be 3 buildings in Edinburgh. Yeah. Did you know that? 3 Scientology buildings in Edinburgh. And they had like hundreds of people coming in. Right. And there's one on Thistle Street Road, or Thistle Road, Thistle Street Road, or whatever it is. Yeah. And that was the main publishers. But do you know what year Scientology first came to Scotland at all?
1968.
It was 68. I was trying to work out if it was 67 or 68. Yeah.
So Scientology so the Oregon, Scotland was the first ever AO in the world. The first.
Yeah. Yes, I've got it confirmed because I was trying to figure out, because I know Denmark, Scotland, and LA were all around the same time, and they were the first AOLAs. AOLAs, is that right?
Yeah, AOLAs. That's right.
Yeah. So Scotland was the first. Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing the OT levels in the 60s in Scotland.
Yeah. It was easier back then, though. Just whiz up the bridge, wouldn't they? Bloody, yeah. Whew, well, I can't wait to see what happens, Amir. I cannot wait. And I appreciate you spending so much of your time speaking to me. And it's been absolutely fascinating and heartbreaking and inspiring all at the same time. And I hope we can become really good friends and, you know, like stay in touch.
We're pretty good friends.
I have to ask you one last question, though, right, before I go. You said you're into footy, right?
Yeah, I'm a big football fan. That's right.
Rangers or Celtic?
Oh, shit, I can't answer that.
Tell me offline. Football's very serious in Scotland, people. Very serious. It is literally religious, isn't it?
I had a stress test, and I said, what's stressing you out the most in your life? And he said, Celtic just lost to Rangers. And I was like, oh. And he just wouldn't leave it alone. But that was like...
It's serious, mate. It's serious stuff, man. Very, very serious. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. And stay in touch and we'll talk very, very soon, okay?
Thanks, Steve.
Say bye to everyone. Bye.